What's going on, everyone? It is Paul, the 920 Trader with 920 Trading and Trading Decoded. Today is Tuesday, April 16, 2024. We're changing things up just a little bit, but before we get into that change, folks, if you like our videos, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. That way you can be notified when we drop new content, which is just about every day, and sometimes on the weekend. Those are going to be the trading psychology. Pay close attention to those, folks. Also, leave us a comment. We always appreciate the comments. And don't forget to share. Share our videos with folks out there, folks. Let's see if we can get this thing to spread far and wide. But anyway, again, we're going to change things up a little bit. It's not. I want to quit making this about how I traded SPY today, folks. It doesn't matter how I traded SPY today, folks. What matters is, how did SPY work relative to the 920 crossover strategy? I mean, ultimately, folks, that's what it's all about. We're still going to have our same lines on the screen, folks. Same lines. You'll still see my plays, but we're going to be able to gauge these. Good entry, bad entry, good exit, bad exit, this kind of thing. But we're just going to talk about how it played out overall today, relative to the 920 strategy. So pre-market high, 506.26. We got pre-market low sitting down at 503.09. We got over $3 worth of pre-market. When we have over $3 pre-market, and particularly since we also had JPOW today, so Mr. JPOW did his thing this afternoon, we know we're going to probably get some volatility today. I think the market makers are expecting a $2.50, $2.60 move. Something like that. But when we think about it like that, we have a tendency to kind of bias ourselves against doing this or doing that or doing whatever. We just want to let the chart kind of be our guide, folks. And remember, if your edge presents itself, you're compelled to put on the trade. So every line, with the exception of pre-market high and pre-market low, everything on here, folks, is a 30-minute zone. We like those 30-minute zones. We like to take those. We like to take the plays directly out of 30-minute zones back to the upside, and directly out of 30-minute zones back to the downside. Also, major zones. In other words, we can also use pre-market low and pre-market high as major zones, folks. So let's get into the trading day and see what happened so far. I didn't catch any of these. I was looking to play this long. I was looking for a breach of 505.09 to the upside and get a close up there and play it back to the upside, but it just didn't happen, and again, that's why we have these lines on here, folks, because these, again, are major lines. These are all 30-minute zones. I could have very easily taken this rejection off, but I didn't. I waited a couple of minutes to see if we could get below this 504.26. I took a mid-candle play right in here. But again, mine don't matter. Yeah, I took it right off at that pre-market low. But again, it doesn't matter. Let's see what we're doing relative to the 920. We are below the 9. That's where we like to be, folks. We're going to use that 9 as resistance. So the 9 is resistance. That's on the way down. Now, on the way up, the 9 is support. The 9 is support. We could do something kind of crazy, like we could turn off the 20. And that's what we have right there, folks. We've got the 9. All we've got right here, folks. We're just going to ride that down. And again, we're still shooting for targets. No question about that. Ride it down to the target, then ride it back up, ride it down, ride it up. We use that 20 as an additional layer of confirmation, folks. Again, 920 trading. We use the 9 and 20 to generate buy and sell signals in the market. That's what we do. So that's kind of how that one played out. Again, right down to that pre-market low. And I had one of our members say, hey, you sold right at pre-market low. Actually, I didn't sell on this red candle. This is a green candle right in here, folks. This is a green candle. But I sold because it wasn't really making any lower low in here. And I thought, you know what, let's take it off the table. First play out of the gate, it was a decent little play back to the downside. Missed it back to the upside. I missed a lot of plays in here, folks. Missed a lot of plays. Now, back to the upside. How are we going to play this? Okay, we could play it multiple ways. We could take a play directly off of the reject back to the upside off this pre-market low. That's always a solid strategy, folks. You can take a bounce off pre-market low back to the upside, or pre-market high back to the downside. If you're getting rejection at one of those levels, that's how we play that. So The entries on this particular play back to the upside are, number one, you could take this candle right here. You can take this candle right here where we're bouncing, okay? Next candle, you got a fishtail play right in here. So you got this 950 fishtail. You take a fishtail play in here, a fishtail play in here, a breach of this to the upside. So we got 504.33 back to the upside. So you have a whole bunch of different spots to get into this play. But what we want to do, folks, we want to be as close to a major level as we can. That way we can predefine our risk. So if we're taking a play right, let's say on this, we got 42 down to 09. You got a big zone. You got a big, that's quite a lot of room, back to the downside if it goes against you. This play right in here, what are you going to use? Well, you can probably use your 9. So you're going to use your 9 right in here. Now back to the upside. Once you breach this 504.03 back to the upside, this is your risk. So we got 03, we got 20, you got 19 cents worth of risk. Safe right here. Now on this play, we're getting really, really late into the play at this point. But if you're going to take it, this late in the play, you want to make sure that you have really, really quick scalps. It's kind of too late in the play unless we breach this 505.09 to the upside. And then you would use that as support and make that next leg up to perhaps 505.51. So that's how that one would play out. Again, there are multiple places to take an entry, but generally speaking, you want to be really, really close to a major line. Okay, a major line, and again, you want to be able to predefine that risk. So that's how that play played out. Now, I look back at a couple of these plays. Right in here, I went to the restroom right around here, folks, and I missed this, folks. And there were good spots to get in, but I came in. I don't know. I was going for about 10 or 12 minutes, and I think I made coffee and went to the restroom. This kind of thing. I came back in here. I think 10:25 or so. And I'm thinking, you know what? I could put on a play right around in here and then ride this 9 back to the downside. But it was a little bit too late for me to get into the play, and I don't like to chase plays. I would have felt like I was chasing a play. And I didn't want to feel like that, so I didn't put on the trade. And what happened? Then we just kind of bounced around, and then we ran up. And then what happened? Look at the time, folks. I said, well, and again, I missed this to the upside. For whatever reason, clean play here. Dirty play here. Now, if you switch time frames, look what you got over here. By switching time frames, let's see where we are. That's Monday. I better get to Tuesday. By switching time frames, this is what you got, folks, on the 3-minute. So you got this 3-minute right here. Okay, so ride that up on the 3-minute, and it's a lot cleaner. Actually, that's pre-market. What am I talking about? See how clean it is? It's really, really clean. I know that's pre-market. Sometimes a little bit slow. But back to the 1 minute. There we go. Back to the 1 minute. So let's see. We will get back to this move in here. I missed this because I was at lunch. So I went to lunch. And then around this time, that's when JPOW stepped in. So I had a kind of a thing with Canada. So a deal with Jerome Powell's counterpart from the Bank of Canada. That's pretty much like the Fed in Canada. So they kind of did their thing, and it ran up and it ran down. This is where Jerome Powell got on, folks. This is where he got on. And he started talking. Look at all this volume that poured in. And I said, you know what? We got volume. We got a double cross back to the downside. Let's take a flyer on this. And I played it for about $1.50 back to the downside. Marketed out of that order. Didn't obviously play anything to the upside because, again, JPOW was on his thing. We started to get a lot of volume that poured in right in here. Now you can see my check mark on this one is behind. But again, it doesn't matter how I played these things. JPOW is on during these areas in here. Leave it alone, folks. Just leave it alone. And he got off right in here, and then it started running up, and I thought, you know what? We got a lot of volume behind this push, so let's take it up. And look what I did. I accidentally marketed out of that play right there. And then I got back to the downside. But let's talk about this play right in here. We failed to get a close or a strong close above this pre-market high. So remember what we talked about. We talked about taking plays directly off of pre-market high or pre-market low and taking it in the opposite direction. So you get this rejection off this area right in here, and then you play it back to the downside. I waited until we got to the fishtail, which is the space between the 9 and the 20. And then again, made the same mistake where I accidentally marketed out of the play. And By that point, I said, you know what? It's getting late in the day. Let's see if there's something late in the day that sets up. And there was. We had a nice little setup. So we breached this area, and I thought we were going to, make another run up here, to perhaps maybe take it up to that pre-market high again. It didn't. I took this play right in here. Again, missed all this in here for whatever reason. It was dirty. I didn't know that at the time. But look at this candle right here. I think this is a 60 or 70 cent candle on this candle right here. So I'm not taking a position based on that. So this is a no-go zone for me, unless I'm already in. And then I'd probably take the 70-cent candle and get the heck out of the play. But anyway, we got across to the upside. We breached this 505.51. And I put on the play right here. I gave it a few minutes and kind of sat in that and lost on that trade. Big deal. Don't really care, folks, whether it's a winning trade or a losing trade. We're not reliant on a single trade, but rather a series of trades over time to make it as a trader. So that's ultimately all that matters, is the series of trades. But you can see all of the crosses today, folks. You can see all the crosses now. When I get rid of all my lines and kind of go back to the beginning of the day right in here, you can see it's much, much cleaner without all the lines. The lines, those give us targets throughout the day, folks. That's all that those are for. And as a matter of fact, when I'm watching SPX, let me get over to SPX on the 1 minute. I don't have any lines whatsoever on my SPX chart because, number one, I trade SPX. But it's just much cleaner for me. And it's just a preference. But you can see without all these lines, it's just extra noise. But again, it's always nice to have a target along the way somewhere. You certainly don't need to have lines on the chart. But again, all of my lines are 30-minute zones, and those are major zones, folks. We like to have those zones further apart, but sometimes it's just kind of unavoidable. Yeah, there were some really, really nice setups today. Some periods of not so much. But again, this is JPOW, and this is his name was Tiff. His name's Tiff, and I think he also makes maple syrup. Tiff's Canadian maple syrup, I believe. Family thing. But that's how she played out today, folks. Overall, it was a really, really good day. Had some really, really nice setups. Nice 920 setups throughout the day, folks. And again, you never know what's going to play out and what's not going to play out. So when your edge presents itself, you're compelled to put on the trade. So put on the trade. My preference is to trade the first couple hours of the day and then be done. And then if there's a setup in power hour, go ahead and trade that. If there's not, there's no harm, no foul whatsoever. But I think overall it was a good day today. Now, if you like our videos, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you will be notified, hence the notification, when we drop new content, which is just about every day and sometimes on the weekends. And on the weekends, that is going to be trading psychology, generally speaking. Also, leave us a comment. We greatly appreciate those. And share with your friends. Remember, sharing is caring. Now, if you are interested in live daily trading, where we talk about every single one of these setups, folks, unless I'm at lunch. And if I'm at lunch, I'm not talking about the setups because I'm at lunch. But every single day from bell to bell, folks, we're on the mic. We're talking about these setups. We're talking about, okay, if the market does this, this is what we expect to do, or this is what's happened in the past. Based on our technical analysis, we think this is going to happen. We're not always right, and that's okay because we can never always be right. And again, that's okay. It doesn't matter, folks. That's why we have a strategy. No strategy is 100%. But we understand probabilities. Probabilities is, the likelihood of one thing happening over another thing. That's all it is. But anyway, every single day, folks, from bell to bell, live trading. Head on over. The link is directly down below. It's called Trading Decoded. And we're going to give you that first week for free. If it's for you, great. If it's not a problem. That's fine. No pressure whatsoever. You're going to have 100% access to the entire server for the entire week. Take advantage of it. The only thing it costs you is a little bit of your precious time. Now, if you're interested in the 920 crossover strategy, head on over to 920trading.com. And again, the link for that is down below. Everything about the strategy, it's all laid out from A to Z, folks. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars for some super secret strategy. It's quite frankly, it's not super, it's not secret. Yeah, head on over to 920trading.com. Everything is there. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars. Also, sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It comes out every weekend. We'd love to have you. At least come check it out, folks. Come check it out. But that's how the 920 played out today, folks. It plays out every single day. Some days are better than others, but that's just the market for you. That's how we did it today, folks. I hope everybody had a great day today, but above all else, I hope you followed your specific plan today, folks. But have a great rest of the day. We're going to do this again tomorrow, and we will see you in the markets.